All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. First of all, we're going to be talking about the economy today, some news on the unemployment front that we're going to be discussing, but the Lieutenant Governor's here. I want to thank him for the work he's been doing with employers across the state, trying to address an issue with the unemployment shortages we have across the state, so I want to thank him for his service on that. As we continue to move forward, from COVID-19, we are proud that Missouri is in the top tier of the nation for economic recovery. Nearly 70% of the jobs recovered and a 4.2% unemployment. Employment increased by over 15,000 jobs in March. General revenue is higher than our estimated projections. We are now first in the nation for small business wage growth. Second, for the lowest change in unemployment rate year over year. We are second in the nation for apprenticeships. We are fourth in the nation for new manufacturing facilities. Seventh in the nation for migration, people moving to Missouri. 10th in the nation for new business expansion. We're 11th in the nation for site selections. All of these are in the top tier of the United States because we have taken a balanced approach to how we've dealt with the crisis and all the things we did prior to that crisis, why we're where we're at today. However, despite our economy's strong comeback, many business owners and employers across the state are still struggling, not because of COVID-19, but because they can't find people to fill the jobs. To help address this labor shortage, I have directed the Missouri Department of Labor to end participation in all federal pandemic-related unemployment benefits effective Saturday, June the 12th. The termination applies to all 6 federal pandemic unemployment insurance programs. While these federal benefits provided necessary financial assistance during the height of COVID-19, they were intended to be temporarily. Continuing these programs only worsens the workforce issues we're currently facing. It's time that we end these programs that have incentivized people to stay out of the workforce. This is an important step towards returning to normalcy and strengthening our economy. With more than 221,000 known job openings across this state, we know that the jobs are out there, and one of the last remaining hurdles to full economic recovery is addressing this labor shortage. Today's actions ensure that we can fill existing jobs as well as thousands of new jobs coming to our state as companies continue to invest and expand in Missouri. I also want to add with the COVID-19, with the vaccine program that we have in the state of Missouri right now, that vaccine is available for 80% of the population within a 5-mile radius of wherever they live, and that continues to grow every day. So that being said, Kelly, I'm going to open it up for questions on the labor side of things today.
We've got questions from the media. Sir, if you'd identify yourself and let us know. Do you have a question? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Questions? Jean.
Hi, Jeannie Kwon with the Kansas City Star. Can you talk about what data the Department of Labor has as far as those open jobs? Like, what is driving, businesses from being challenged and filling them? Like, do you know that there's a direct connection between the enhanced benefits as well as the current labor market situation?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just tell you, all you got to do is get out and drive down the road anywhere in Missouri, and there's help wanted in every location in the state of Missouri, whether it's a small business or big businesses. This is not an isolated area or anything. I mean, this is just more of a common sense issue. I think we all know that where the labor market's at, and we're looking for people to go to work, and it's time they go back to work.
Jason?
Hi, Governor. One of the things that I've heard anecdotally, especially when you were talking about the restaurant industry, is the reason why they're facing a shortage is that workers have reevaluated their professional desires and feel like they don't want to work in restaurants anymore because it doesn't pay well enough. Isn't that the bigger issue rather than the unemployment benefits?
Yeah, well, no, I don't agree with that because number one, I think as the business arena comes back, I think you're seeing more and more employers knowing they're going to have to pay more money to get employees back in. I think many of them are making that adjustment. Where somebody decides to go to work is totally up to the individuals, but I think the reality of it is the market itself is going to set the wages here in the state of Missouri, and we see that growing every day too.
Hi, Governor. The state of Montana also recently did a similar thing, but they announced that they would give a one-time check of, I think, $1,200 to people who would re-enter the workforce. Is that something that you've considered, or?
No, right now we're going to go with the plan in place. The big thing, I think the difference between us and Montana, I don't even believe theirs comes into effect till the end of June because it's connected to an emergency order. I'm not sure about that, but I think that's right. You know, we know that we need people out there in the workforce today, so we're going to try to implement it. We know we have a 30-day period we have to do with the federal government to be able to implement this. That's why we want to do it as soon as possible.
Hi, Governor. How many people are covered by this enhanced federal program? Do you know?
I don't know. Department of Labor would have those exact numbers, and I don't want to estimate on that, but they'd have that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and again, a lot of other states that are doing this have waited sort of till the end of June. Why June 12th?
Yeah, simply we want to get it out there as soon as we can, get people back to work. I think the whole principle behind it is to try to get people back in the workforce. We know the jobs are available right now, and we believe it's safe to get back out in the workforce. Along with, you see the restrictions are being lifted every day or almost every week as we go forward, and it's time that we start taking a real look at the restrictions and start roll them back.
All right, Emily, last question.
Hi, Governor. Emily from Nexstar Media. Want to ask, some other states have taken it upon themselves to offer savings bonds, $100 savings bonds to people in between the ages of 16 to 35 for people to get a COVID vaccine and to be fully vaccinated. Is there anything that the state of Missouri is talking about to make sure that people are getting their shots into arms? Anything at all?
Well, first of all, most certainly. We're always evaluating that vaccine process to figure out. We know when we get to Missouri, when you get to about 55% of the population, it is going to be much more of a challenge to get the remaining groups that vaccine. The good news with the vaccine is we're now probably somewhere around 78% of that population is 65 and older, the most vulnerable population. And that was the one we know that was creating the hospital stays and the fatality rates. So we've done very well on that, but we also know there's going to be a large percentage of people that we're going to have to keep educating, we're going to have to keep marketing to try to make sure to promote the vaccine, and we're just going to have to see where it ends up. But it'll be a challenge.
So is the state considering doing anything, possibly putting in those savings bonds?
Yeah, I won't say the savings bond, but I'm saying we're looking at every possibility all the time. You know, when we get to that point, what are we going to do? First of all, we got a marketing campaign out there that we spent several $1 million on trying to figure out, okay, what is that going to change the numbers? So there's things we have in place. We sure want to evaluate all of those. But we will get to the point and probably talk to some of the businesses to figure out how we move forward on this.
I think, Governor, we have time for one more. Ma'am?
Hi, Caitlin King, Columbia, Missouri. And I have a question. This morning, the Conference Committee for Senate Bill 53 postponed their meeting, citing that you said that you would veto the bill if it hit your desk because of legislation, House Bill 1069, which revolved around certain offenses made against the General Assembly. Just would you speak on that? Why don't you want that in there? What is your issue with that?
Well, first of all, there's a due process everybody should have. But when you give somebody subpoena power, I've spent 22 years in law enforcement protecting due process for the citizens of this state. That bill, without a doubt, if that bill's attached to anything, will be vetoed immediately on that. I've said that, and I'll make it perfectly clear today. But that is a total power overreach of government, and the last thing we need to do is be doing that. Because I'll tell you the simple of it, you know, it may be good today for some, but you don't know who's going to be sitting in those seats tomorrow and how they might use that power. But I just think it's a total power grab to be even considering that. So most definitely, if it makes it to my desk, whatever it's on will be vetoed.
All right, thank you, Governor.
All right. Thanks, everyone.